KSAT 12. The news at 5:30 starts right now.
First at 5:30, gunshots echo through a downtown neighborhood in San Antonio. Police say when it all stopped, a 17-year-old had been shot in the back.
Yeah, investigators say it appears to be a drive-by shooting. Officers responded to that call in the 2500 block of West Cesar Chavez Boulevard near South Calavera Street after 7:30 last night. They say the victim was found outside. Multiple shell casings littered the ground.
EMS rushed the teen to the hospital, and at last check, he was in critical condition. Witnesses telling police they saw a beige-colored sedan speeding away from the scene. So far, no arrests have been made. Another barrage of bullets fired in a neighborhood, this over on the west side, landing 6 people in police custody. It all happened in the 100 block of Loma Arc Drive off of Aurora Avenue near Alderette Park. Police called out there around 2:15 this morning. They found about 100 shell casings in the street and yard. We're told officers discovered a home and vehicle had also been hit by the gunfire. Police were given a description of a suspect vehicle and found it crashed with the suspect still inside. Those suspects ranging in age from 14 years old to 20. Officers say all of them now facing deadly conduct firearm charges, and an 18-year-old also facing a charge for evading.
A 2-vehicle crash on South General McMullen sends 2 people to the hospital. It happened around 12:30 this morning. Police say a Ford Taurus was traveling south when a Mazda Tribute pulled out from a driveway and into its path. Officers say the Taurus crashed into the driver's side of the Mazda, and the driver of the Mazda and a backseat passenger were taken to the hospital. Investigators say the Mazda driver failed to yield the right-of-way, but the driver of the Taurus was the one arrested. That person was allegedly intoxicated. They were booked for DWI.
Easter Sunday services celebrated today by Christians around the world, including right here in San Antonio. The faithful filed into San Fernando Cathedral this morning. Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra presiding over services today. He is encouraging all to reach out to family members, both close and extended, as far as they can, as well as friends, and have faith that sacrifice on the cross will give you what you need to strengthen all your relationships.
Maybe to rediscover the friendship, maybe to rediscover in yourself a new capacity that you didn't recognize before, and it's thanks to the resurrection of the Lord Jesus.
The Archbishop says he is prayerful that his parishioners will see the revelation within the next 50 days that lead up to the Christian observance of the day of Pentecost.
Well, families are wrapping up camping portions of their Easter weekend here in San Antonio at Brackenridge Park. After enduring the unseasonably cold temperatures and a whole lot of rain, today people were taking full advantage of clear skies. As Alyssa Cole reports, they were firing up their grills and making sure to pass down special family Easter traditions.
It started off as a cool, crisp Sunday morning here at Breckenridge Park. Families kicking off their day with a warm meal and an early stroll.
Fajitas this morning. We're waiting to fire up those barbecue pits, get some breakfast going for the little ones as well.
We started coming out here since Friday, but Friday we kind of laid back a little bit, and we were hoping that it cleared up, and yesterday it cleared up real good, and we're ready to do it again every year, thank God.
After camping all weekend long, braving out cold temperatures and rain, these San Antonians are gearing up for a big day of traditional activities and fun.
Just super cold last night. The family bundled as a family, out here. We're doing the egg hunt. Last night we did like a neon egg hunt type deal.
Glow in the dark egg hunt. It was super fun.
And we're gonna, just have family fun together, have a good time, and, enjoy their company and their beautiful day.
Outside of Easter egg hunts and enjoying tasty food from the barbecue pit, families tell me they're grateful to share Resurrection Day with loved ones.
The resurrection of Christ, which is the most important thing, is something that we need to teach our children to be able to keep on with that tradition.
Alyssa Cole, KSAT 12 News.
Orare per gli ammalati, per I poveri, per gli anziani e per chi sta attraversando momenti di prova e di fatica. Cristo è risorto.
Pope Francis prayed for the people of Ukraine, Russia, and other countries during his Easter blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. Francis also referenced the recent clashes in Jerusalem and a prayer for a return to talks between Israel and the Palestinians. After being sidelined during Good Friday services as a precaution, the pontiff was able to carry out Easter Mass today as crowds swelled to around 100,000 in St. Peter's Square to hear his message.
Well, some voters in Tennessee are outraged by the Republican-led expulsion of 2 black lawmakers from the state House of Representatives after they participated in a protest for gun reform. A white lawmaker who also participated in that protest in the Tennessee State House floor was saved from the same fate by 1 vote.
ABC's Jacqueline Lee reports efforts are now underway in those districts to return them to their seats.
The expulsion of 2 former state representatives from the Tennessee state legislature has many in their districts outraged.
We the people hired Justin J. Pearson, and we didn't fire him.
I'm angry. Representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones were expelled after ignoring warnings from Republican leadership about protesting for gun reform in the chamber following the Covenant School shooting in Nashville.
Expelled from the House of Representatives.
The Republican House Speaker telling Fox News,
We have decorum, we have process, we have procedure.
Tens of thousands of voters now without representation in the Tennessee State House.
Truly taxation without representation.
Pearson says he hopes to be reappointed to his role so he can continue to serve Memphis, calling his ouster an abuse of power by the Republican leadership.
Who would rather expel our voices and try to expel our people's voices from the people's house rather than address the issue of gun violence and the need for real gun safety reform legislation that could prevent people from dying in the first place.
Jones attended Easter service on Sunday, briefly addressing the congregation.
It's not over. We're in the midst of a resurrection, of a reconstruction that will redeem the soul of the state and hopefully this nation.
Voters are rallying behind both lawmakers.
We're getting hundreds of emails and lots of phone calls, and people want to send them right back up.
The Nashville Metro Council will consider suspending its rules on Monday in order to expedite the process to send Jones back to the House. A majority of the council members need to approve the nomination for it to go through, but the process could be delayed if 2 members object.
I'd like for him to be reinstated. No one can take his place.
Pearsons County is considering taking similar action to return him to his seat. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, New York.
Still to come on the news at 5:30, the IRS is hoping a makeover will help taxpayers see the federal agency in a gentler, kinder way. We'll lay out some of the changes that are in store and how much taxpayer money will be used.
And a rabbit taken into police custody ends up becoming part of the force. After the break, find out this tiny officer's official job title.
Tax season is here. The deadline this year to file federal income taxes is April 18th. That is just a little more than a week away. In the meantime, the government agency says it's looking at a makeover. The IRS has unveiled a plan to use $80 billion to revamp the agency. The proposed plan would hire more than 7,000 new auditors in the next 2 years, and it will work to step up efforts in enforcement to audit more wealthy people and corporations. In addition, the IRS says it wants to be more customer friendly.
Changing gears just in time for Easter, instead of chocolate and eggs, a bunny is bringing something more important to the people in one California city. Meet the newest member of a Yuba City, California Police Department. An officer found the rabbit in the middle of the road last October. She took him to animal control, but nobody claimed him, so the department took him in. He is now known as Officer Percy after the street where he was found. Officer Percy has his own tiny canine harness and is serving as the department's wellness and support officer.
As long as they don't put him in charge of Farmer John's crops, I think they'll be okay.
So cute.
So little.
My goodness, yeah, so tiny. Well, if the Easter Bunny came and visited you today, saw some cloud cover out there. It actually was able to hang on a little bit longer this Sunday, but other than that, at least temperatures have been confined to the upper 60s and low 70s, so pleasant out there. Looking ahead to tomorrow, another scattered rain chance moves into the forecast. Not going to be for everybody, but it wouldn't hurt to keep the umbrella handy. And then after that, a drier and quieter weather pattern takes over for the remainder of the week. And that also brings with it some warming temperatures. So we'll get you a full look at what we're expecting in the week ahead coming up after the break.
Loved the cloud cover actually today. It made for really good Easter egg hunting for everyone.
I didn't get to do any of that. I was cleaning the pool, so I fully appreciated the gray skies out there.
Any cloud cover would have been nice for outdoor activities.
Yeah, and it generally held temperatures to the upper 60s, low 70s. So yeah, not too bad out there for any of your outdoor Easter activities that you may have been taking part in this Sunday. Let's take you back outside so you can see, yes, that cloud cover that is still in place. Now in spots this afternoon, we have managed to see some of that break up just a little bit, leading way to a few peaks of blue skies. But for the most part here in San Antonio, yes, we've been dealing with a little bit of a gloomy day out there. Temperatures, though, just shy of 70 degrees right now over at the airport, 73 in Pleasanton. The current temperature this hour, 72 in Kennedy, 71 in Hondo. Kerrville checking in the upper 60s, currently 76 in Del Rio, where folks out west have been able to tap into just a few more peaks of sunshine today. Generally, if you're stepping out for any Sunday evening plans, expect those temperatures to fall through the 60s here in San Antonio over the next several hours. Now, tomorrow morning, we're going to start off near about 60 degrees before daytime highs climb into the 70s, but we are not finished with the rain chances. Right off the bat, it's not going to be for everybody tomorrow, but we've got about a 30 to 40% potential to find a few showers in the morning, maybe a couple of isolated thunderstorms into the afternoon, all depending on how this disturbance continues to trek across the Lone Star State. You can see we are finding some rain and thunderstorm activity pushed across portions of the Texas Panhandle. That is now approaching the I-20 corridor. That is moving farther off to the south as well as the east. So by midnight tonight, that activity, depending on how well it holds together, is approaching the San Angelo area. Most of that cluster looks to weaken as it approaches our area, but still by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, especially across our far western counties and closer to the Rio Grande, it's possible we find a couple of scattered showers out there, a few hit or miss splashes of rain, certainly not off the table closer to San Antonio for the morning drive. By 10 a.m., some additional activity out there across portions of the Winter Garden. And then notice as we head into the early afternoon, this is 2 p.m. tomorrow, it is possible that, yes, we also find a couple of isolated thunderstorms develop as that activity pushes in from the north and moves farther off to the south. So again, it's not going to touch everybody tomorrow, but probably a good idea to keep the rain gear in the car should we briefly need to use it. Now, temperature-wise, upper 50s, low 60s. Greet us out the door first thing Monday, around 60 degrees here in San Antonio, 62 in Floresville, 64 in Pleasanton, 59 over in Utopia. Mostly cloudy skies do look to be the theme tomorrow as well, warming into the mid-60s by 11 a.m., upper 60s by lunchtime, 73 by 3. And then as we head into our Monday afternoon, yes, those temperatures do look to climb into the 70s for most of us. Now, Tuesday, we could find an isolated lingering shower, especially across our far eastern counties. Temperatures in the mid-70s there as well. And then notice what happens as we head into the second half of the week. We dry things out, we see more sunshine return, and those temperatures will continue to warm. Upper 70s, low 80s out there on the thermometers for daytime highs. And then our next chance for rain and our next cold front moves in early next weekend. So we'll keep eyes on that over the next several days, guys.
Those lows still look very good, though.
Yes.
Very reasonable, no nonsense in there. I like it.
Thanks. No nonsense.
I also like that the Spurs season is finally over. Let's look ahead to the next one, shall we, Andrew?
Yes.
It's a good idea. We got the draft coming up in a couple months. We got obviously we have to get the lottery to figure out where they're going to be drafting. But since today was the last time we were going to see this year's Spurs unit in action, they put on a decent show. When we come back, we'll get to the highlights plus history for Jesse Bam Rodriguez in San Antonio. Got that too next.
It wasn't the best performance, I'll admit that. I got my jaw broken in like the 6th round. It hurts, I can barely talk right now.
Even with a broken jaw, there was no stopping Bam last night in big board sports. History was made at the Techport Arena in San Antonio last night as Jesse Bam Rodriguez defeated Christian Gonzalez by unanimous decision to claim the vacant WBO flyweight title. Bam controlled the pace of the fight throughout and won handily 118-110, 117-111, and 116-112. And keep in mind, he fought over half the match with a broken jaw that he suffered in the 6th round. Maybe because of that, Bam couldn't quite get a hold of Gonzalez long enough to finish the fight before it went the distance. What made Gonzalez so tough to catch?
He just didn't want to throw or engage in the fight, kept moving, but I mean, I had to figure him out. That's boxing. You got to take any style that's given to you and make sure you get the W.
Now at just 23 years old, Bam is the first man from San Antonio to be a 2-division champion. He owns the WBC super flyweight title as well. A broken jaw might impact his immediate outlook, but Bam and promoter Eddie Hearn know who to fight next.
Tony Edwards, that's the only option. I think he's been talking, so let's make it happen.
That's the fight now. Unification fights, one champion in the division. Jesse Rodriguez tonight became the first ever man from San Antonio to become a 2-division world champion. He's a great product of this city, and although he broke his jaw tonight, he won a division championship, and on he goes to unifications.
Bam is now 18-0 in his career with 11 knockouts to his name. Sonny Edwards is 19-0 with 4 knockouts. The Spurs season officially concludes today against the Dallas Mavericks, and surprisingly, both teams will be sitting out of the playoffs. So today's more about pride and building towards the future. Fresh off his second career triple-double, Trey Jones hits a 3-ball to put San Antonio up 20-7 and force a Mavs timeout. A little later, rookie Blake Wesley keeps it rolling with another triple, this time from the wing for a 33-9 lead. And then Wesley hits another 3 right at the buzzer. San Antonio owns the first quarter. They're up 42-14 after 1 and 71-59 at halftime. Third quarter, Spurs fending off a Mavs rally. Malachi Branham knocks down a baseline jumper. 20 points for that rookie today. Sandro Memikalashvili had a team-high 23 points. Spurs defeat the Mavs for the first time since April of 2021, 138-117. They end the season with a 22-60 overall record. All right, so now all eyes turn to the NBA draft, and the Spurs have a decent chance of securing the number 1 overall pick, which they haven't had since they drafted Tim Duncan back in 1997. Prior to the game, Pop was asked whether he has thought about that possibility at all.
Sure, it goes through your head. I mean, you know, I have a pulse, and if I have a pulse and I'm in basketball, I'm probably going to think about the ping pong balls or the lottery, I guess. Yeah, I can do that, right? It's not against the rules. I can't talk about any of the players or anything, I guess, but I'm alive. I have ears, and I see TV, and there's a lottery. Yes, I've thought about it. Duh. Did you think I did? Did I live in a phone booth? Or
you said earlier that it was all about today, and that's it.
That was bull. You believed me? Naive man.
The draft lottery is May 16th, and the draft itself is scheduled for June 22nd. The San Antonio Brahmas are back in the Alamo Dome to kick off a 3-game homestand with a battle against their XFL South rivals, the Houston Roughnecks. Brahmas down 15-6 in the fourth quarter, and Cameron Kelly gives them new life, intercepting Brandon Silvers at the 36-yard line. San Antonio is back in business. 5 plays later, Jacquez Patrick knifes in for the 2-yard touchdown. The 3-point conversion was no good, but they maintain possession with a 4th and 15 conversion, and John Parker Romo makes a 49-yard field goal as time expires. We're heading to overtime tied at 15 all, but the rally ends in OT. Sanders hits Deontay Burnett for the Roughnecks' only conversion, and the Brahmas can't answer. They go 0 for 3 in OT and fall in a thriller, 17-15. Only 2 girls soccer teams from the greater San Antonio area will compete in this week's UIL state tournament, and both punched their tickets in dramatic fashion. In Class 5A, Smithson Valley will make their first ever appearance at state. The Rangers stormed through the first 4 rounds of playoff competition, outscoring opponents by a combined margin of 24-3. But yesterday's regional final came down to a single goal with under 3 minutes to play. Ryland Shippey's free kick proved to be the game winner in a 1-0 victory over McAllen, sending Smithson Valley to Georgetown. Here is the matchup. The Rangers will take on Grapevine Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Should they win, they'll play in the championship game on Saturday at 11 a.m. The Bernie girls had even less margin for error in their Class 4A regional final against Davenport. Sophia Harper scored the game winner in the 78th minute of a 1-0 Greyhounds victory. And this marks Bernie's second straight trip to Georgetown, and they certainly earned it, outscoring their 5 opponents by a combined margin of 24-2 and posting 4 shutout victories in the playoffs. The Bernie girls will once again face the defending Class 4A champions Salina in the state semis Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Greyhounds lost to Salina last year 3-0 in the semis, so a little bit of revenge cooking up here coming up this week. Should be a lot of fun.
We'll be right back.
That's going to do it for us. We'll hope to see you back here for more local news tonight on the Night Beat.
We hope you've had a lovely Easter, and we'll see you later.